The ticking was what woke him up. His head jolted from his arms, finding himself at a desk. A splitting headache took attention, as the lights looming over him did not help his blurry vision. If the man didn't know better, he would think a man took his head for a batting practice. Wincing his eyes shut, the man lowered his head to hide them from the light. Letting the pain subside, he eventually began to lift his head to observe his surroundings. It looked as if he were in a classroom of some sort. The blackboard seemed to be untouched, a podium placed on the left front of the room, and a row of elongated desks lined the walls. The only thing moving were the hands on the clock, ticking away the moments of him sitting in that room. He looked at his arms, crossed to make a comfortable sleeping position for his head. The chair he was in was old and rusted, squeaking with each movement he made. He checked his pockets to see if he were robbed. His wallet and phone remained with him. At least it's one good thing, the man thought to himself. Looking from his position, a door was seen only 10 feet from him. The man got up, wiping the sleep from his eyes, as he made his way to the exit. He grabbed the handle, not a single piece moved from its position. Locked. Of course it is, he thought angrily. The man tried again. Nothing different. He thought about the situation, trying to reason a way to get out of the room. If someone were to bring him here, that person would be holding a key to the door. The man turned to his right, looking at the podium on the other side of the wall. There were several openings and spaces on the back side of the wooden piece of furniture, giving him an interesting thought. If the person who brought me here lost the key, he began to walk to the podium, he would need a spare one inside where I am or in another room. The man looked inside each compartment when he reached there, searching every corner of the podium for the key. Unfortunately, not even dust could be found. The man turned back and headed for the door once more. While holding onto the handle, he began to knock on the door. Hello? A hint of impatience in his voice could be heard. Is anyone out there? Can you let me out? No response could be heard from the outside. He was getting a bit nervous. He began to bang on the door harder. Hey, if you're out here, let me out! I won't tell the cops about this, just let me out, please! The only sound heard was the first hitting of the wooden door frame. God damn it, let me out! Why are you yelling? A voice was finally heard, but it wasn't outside the room. The man spun around and found the source of the response. A young girl, possibly in her late teens, sat at a desk in back of the room. She seemed a bit nervous, but mostly boredom was visible on her face. Her chin rested in her right palm, hidden mostly from a ripped jacket. Her skin was pale, with black hair scattered about her. The man tried to regain his composure, not realizing he wasn't alone. How did I not notice her? He thought to himself. How did you get in here? The man asked the girl. Her attitude remained as it was. I have been here the whole time, she retorted. Some of her bangs fell over her right eye. The man regained most of his poise and began to walk closer to the girl. You don't need to act so rude. You don't need to scream at a door. The man tried to hide a snarl as he took a seat at the desk he woke up at. He crossed his legs and spun the chair around, gaining to look at the girl as he spoke. Fine, I'll play your game, girl. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I asked you first. Rules don't apply here. And exactly where do rules not apply? I just said where. Here. Where's here? She had a profound look of confusion on her face from hearing his response. The girl leaned closer to the table, her hair falling over her shoulders. Her left eyebrow lowered slightly. You don't know where you are, do you? The man looked back at her, not more irritated than before. No, of course not. Why do you think I've been asking you so many questions? He began to question if the girl was actually even completely there, or just as confused as he was. The young girl got out of her seat, walking over to where he was. Her shoes made clacking noises as she made her way through the classroom. She got to the desk the man sat at, putting her hands on a chair and looking at the man. The fluorescent lighting made her look paler than she really was. What's your name? She asked casually. The man was slightly confused as to why she asked the question, seeing as how they were just talking about something that had nothing to do with his name. However, he complied and answered. Steve. She let out a breath, her eyes looking to the ceiling of the blank room. She could see cracks in the tiles, and some water damage was noticeable. Slowly, her hands returned to her sides, and she re-lowered her head. Looking at the door, she approached the exit of the room. Did you not just watch me? The man barked at her. The door is locked. What are you going to do? Break the door down? She reached into her beaten-up pocket on her jacket and pulled out 2 hairpins. She carefully placed the first one inside the entrance of the lock. You want to know why you're here, correct? The hairpin moved up to the top part of the lock, remaining in that position as the second pin was placed in. Of course I do, girl, the man responded. A click was heard from the door. Both hairpins went back into the girl's pocket as she turned the handle. Well, let's go find out why you're here then, Steve. The girl pushed on the frame, and the door opened.